Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava Batra, page 93a, top of the page, with the words My Taima La Mishum Deruba Hachi Tana. What is the reason that the sale is not considered to be a mistaken transaction? Is it not because the majority of slaves are like this, meaning either slaves or gamblers? Apparently the majority is followed in monetary matters. Okay. Lo kulo hachi itanu. The Gemara rejects the proof. No, it is because all slaves are like this. Accordingly, no proof can be drawn as to whether we follow the majority in money matters. Toshima, come in here. Another challenge to Rav's opinion from the Mishnah in Bava 46a. Shorshana Hazapo Benimtso Brabatzido Ven Yodua Imad Shilo Nalcha Yolda Oshim Mishinalcha Yolda Mishalam Chasinezik Leparo Levelad. Coming here, another challenge to Rav's opinion from a Mishnah in Bava 46a. In the case of an innocuous ox that gored and killed a cow, and the cow's fetus was found dead at its side, and it is not known whether the cow calved before the ox gored it, and the fetus's death was unrelated to the goring, or whether it calved after the ox gored it and the fetus died on account of the goring. The ox's owner pays half the cost of the damage for the cow, as is the halacha for an innocuous ox. See Exodus 21:35, and 1/4 of the cost of the damage for the offspring, since it is uncertain whether the ox caused the death of the fetus. Its owner pays for half of the standard liability of half the cost of the damage. Ve'amai lema halach achar rov paros misabros yoldos. The Gemara explains the proof from the Brisa, but why? According to Rav, he should only pay for 1/4 of the damage to the fetus, since there is an uncertainty. Let us say follow the majority of cows, and since the majority of cows become pregnant and calve live offspring, one should conclude that this cow, which did not, certainly miscarried due to the ox goring it, and the ox's owner should be liable for half the cost of the fetus. Since that line of reasoning is not applied here, it is apparent that the majority is not followed in money matters. Hasam mishum dimsavgalan dikla memar mikame asa umishi susa hapila dikla memar meachora asa. Nagach Naghavihipila. Having Mamon Amuta Pasafik, and call Mammon Amuta Pasafik, call Keen. Okay. The Gemara rejects this proof that we said earlier. There, the reason that the ox's owner pays for only 1/4 of the damage for the fetus is due to the fact that we are uncertain about how it died, as it is possible to say that the ox approached the cow from its front, and it was due to the cow's fright, not due to the goring, that it miscarried, meaning the ox's owner would not be liable. And it is also possible to say that the ox approached the cow from behind and gored it, and that is how it miscarried. Accordingly, the payment for such damage constitutes property of uncertain ownership, and the halacha is that all property of uncertain ownership is divided equally between the two parties. Okay. Lema ketanai, lema ketanai, lema ketanai. Lema ketano ishor shehayaroya. Nim zashar harug betzido. Afal pishes menugach. Veze mualigach. Ze menushach veze mualishach. Ein oimri biadua שזה ניחו וזה נשחו. וככה אומר גמר האוכל בין הגמלים, ונמצא גמל הרוג בצידו, וידוע שזה... Okay. The Gemara suggests, let us say that this dispute between Rav and Shmuel is parallel to a dispute between Tanaim, as it is taught in Batra, in a case that an ox that was grazing, and another ox that was found killed at its side, even though this dead ox has been gored, and that grazing ox is forewarned with regard to goring, this dead ox has been bitten, and that grazing ox is forewarned with regard to biting. Nevertheless, one does not say that it is evident that this grazing ox gored the dead ox, or that grazing ox bit it, despite the fact that behavior is typical for the ox. Rather, one cannot draw any definite conclusions. Rabbi Acha says that in the case of a rutting male camel that is rampaging among other camels, and another camel that was found killed at its side, it is evident that this rampaging camel killed it. Such behavior is typical for a rutting camel. Therefore, the owner of that camel is liable. Those who suggested the parallel between the Tannaitic dispute and the dispute between Rav and Shmuel assumed that majority had an analogical presumption about whether an event will happen are equivalent in their capacity to determine the fact of a case. Consequently, let us say that Rav, who says that one follows the majority of monetary matters, holds in accordance with the opinion of Bava, who follows a presumption to determine facts of a case, and that Shmuel, who says that one does not follow the majority in monetary matters, holds in accordance with the opinion of the first Tana, who does not follow a presumption. Amar lach Rav. Rav will tell you. Rav could have said to you, I am stating my ruling even in accordance with the opinion of the first Tana. As the first Tana says that one cannot draw a definite conclusion only there in the case of a grazing ox, as we do not follow a presumption in monetary matters. But he concedes that we follow the majority in monetary matters. Shmuel Amar, Shmuel says, Shmuel Amar, Shmuel says, Shmuel Amar, Shmuel says, Shmuel Amar, Shmuel says. Where was I? Shmuel Amar, that's where I was. Shmuel Amar. Here we go. Shmuel Amar lach Armi Kilo Rabbi Achad Kan lo kam Archim Rabbi Asab El Azli Basar Chazaka Dukuf Muchsak Aval Basar Ruba Lo Azlinan. What's he saying? Shmuel could have said to you, I am stating my ruling even in accordance with the opinion of Rav Acha, as Rav Acha says that one can draw definite conclusion only there in the case of the camel, since we follow a presumption in monetary matters, as this camel is presumed based on its behavior to be the killer. But he concedes that we do not follow the majority in deciding monetary matters. Tashuma, coming here, proof from Brisa, question. Coming here, Amalcha Peres Chavera Uzra'an Lo Tzemechu Vafilu Zera Peshtan and Chayav Achus, and the Gorg suggests coming here another challenge to Rav's opinion from the Mishnah with regard to one who sells produce to another that is sometimes purchased for consumption and sometimes for planting, and the buyer planted it and it did not sprout, and even if it had sold flax seeds, which are rarely sold as food, the seller does not bear financial responsibility for them. What is afilu lav? Afilu zerapishtan deruba zavni afilu hachilo azlina basar ruba. The Gemara explains this proof. What novelty is indicated by saying even if he had sold flax seeds? Is it not that even where he sold flax seeds, of which the majority is purchased for planting and they were not suitable for that purpose, nevertheless the sale stands because we do not follow the majority in monetary matters? Tanya he Titania Hamocher Pers Lechaveroi Uzraon Velotimechu Zroin and Gina Shein Necholin Chayiv Be'achayusan Zerapishtan and Chayiv Rabbi Yossi Omer. Okay, we're finishing 93a. The Gemara concedes that the Mishnah cannot be concealed with Rav Papa's opinion, but suggests that there are other Tanaim who hold in accordance with his opinion. It is a dispute despite Tanaim, as though it is taught in a Brita with regard to one who sells produce to another, and the other planted it and did not sprout. If the produce was seeds for garden plants which are not eaten at all, then the seller bears the financial responsibility for them. If the produce was flax seeds which are only occasionally eaten, then the seller does not bear the financial responsibility for them. Rabbi Yossi says, to be continued for the next daf.